right, welcome to the Soul Wisdom Exchange. I'm Regina Curtis of At Maitri, and I love connecting with other soul guided entrepreneurs to talk about soul wisdom language and how that comes through in their life and in their work. So today I have Charlotte joining us. So, Charlotte, tell us, first of all, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you guys from Belgium.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome. What time is it in Belgium? I know it's midday here in the US.
It's now 6 p.m.
Excellent.
So,
So you've worked through most of your day, so it's a little around dinner time. Um,
mhm.
all right. So beautiful. Well, Charlotte, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do in your business.
Yes. So my name is Charlotte, and I created my own company, Arasari Lifestyle. It's a health coaching, lifestyle coaching company, and I'm helping people shifting their mindsets, and raising their vibes to feel better in their life and feel more passionate, more aligned, and having more inner peace, creating a
Something that
life
we can all use
yeah,
moving forward. Yeah,
exactly.
I love it.
So yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Charlotte and I were just talking about the language of energy before we came on live. And, you know, so in the work that I do with soul wisdom languages, there are five different channels of wisdom. Um, the ways that our wisdom comes to us and comes through us, right? So it's how we know things, how we process, how we
Mhm,
express things, how we
mhm,
integrate it into our lives. And energy is absolutely a language, right? And it speaks to us through these different channels in different ways. So I'd love to hear a little bit about the energy of language and how you, excuse me, the language of energy, and how you use the language of energy in your work with your clients.
I think the first step is creating awareness,
Hmm.
being present, and yeah, being aware of what kind of level you are for yourself, and
Level
taking
of energy, you mean like where your vibration is, where your energy is?
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Also, like your awareness level. This is really important to be able to take the power. What I mean with that is that you're not being like in a victim role, like
Yeah.
everything's happening to me, and why is it happening to me? And uh, so this is the first step to yeah, creating more awareness and taking your power, because then you can talk the language of being more authentic, like who you are, because you can choose then, like in what way will you go, like I feel good or I feel bad, or the
Yeah.
situation, what will I do with the situation, instead of I'm helpless and everything is happening to me. um this is for me, and what I'm doing with my coachings, my clients, like a one step of connecting more to themselves, connecting to more to their instincts,
Yeah.
um, and being more authentic and taking more control of like what kind of life of reality do I want to create in the situation I am, and what are my possibilities, instead of this is happening to me and this is what I need to do because there's no choice.
Yeah.
uh, this is what I'm playing with, and this is also like what you say with the languages, with the body
Yes.
language, with the energy languages. I help them raise their vibe, their energy vibe, and I do that by helping them shifting their mindsets, seeing things differently than they did. This is like the growth mindset
Yep.
instead of the fixed mindset. Yeah, you probably
Exactly.
noticed
I do.
these.
I do know it. Um, so I think
Mhm.
there's a lot of well, not I think there are a lot of parallels between the way that you work with your clients and the way that I work with mine. Um,
Yes.
and one of the things that I really am passionate about is helping people to form a language around how they show up, right? Like there's this word
Mhm.
that I've heard you use. I use it. I feel like it's used sometimes overused, which is authentic, right? Like what is
Okay.
your authentic voice? What is your authentic energy, your authentic way of knowing and being? And I think that part of the reason why that word
Mm-hmm.
is, what's the word I want to use? There's a bit of a resistance to it now, I think, because it's been used so much. Um,
Okay.
and there's this whole kind of way of looking at it like your authentic self is not always your highest, brightest, shiniest self. And it is, right? Like it is
Mhm.
who you are. That is a reflection of who you are authentically.
Mhm.
But also, we all have moments where our energy drops, right? We all have moments where our vibe is low, where we are experiencing emotions that are challenging or um, difficult to move through. But the and that it's not that that's not our authentic self, right? That is also a part of who we are, and yet the it's not
Mhm.
the reflection of our highest version of ourselves at the same time.
I see what you mean. I think that's a projection of society,
Hmm.
of you have to be happy, you have to be
Right.
always the best of yourself, and then you are your authentic self. I think that's what you mean. Like,
Yeah.
um, and that's a misunderstanding because
Yes.
yeah, that's why I love to say I want to help people finding their inner peace instead of you have to be happy or if we
Right.
how do you want to be happy, because happy is just a state of mind, and inner peace or the flow or whatever how you can call it, um, being more
State of
authentic
being. Right.
is a balance of, and that's the yin yang. I love that. Is the
Yes.
balance of the good and the bad, or of everything,
Right.
and the balance. That's the key, um, to be able of dealing with the situations, and that's also what I'm doing with the coachings,
Yeah.
is being aware of what kind of situation am I in, and how can I deal with this situation that feels now good for me, even if something sad happens, somebody died, for example. Okay, that's then you. It's normal that you're not happy, but
Right.
choose to be like, okay, I will take a step back and maybe isolate myself and do something nice for me and allow myself to feel sad. That's also being authentic.
Yes. That exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I meant by that. Is that
Okay.
I think somehow along the way there's been this misconception that happiness is the natural state of being that we are aiming for, right?
Yeah.
And that happiness equals joy. Because I don't even think that, like,
Mhm.
if you were to look up in a thesaurus or whatever, right, like the word happy as in a state of being, I think really is more contentment. It's more about being content in wherever you are, right? And that's more reflective of
Mhm.
that state of peace, that peace of mind, of being content where you are. But that word has been kind of more associated with lower frequency things like settling for something less than joy,
Yeah.
which is this happiness, right? But it's an elated state of happiness that actually is not something that we can maintain all the
Mhm.
time. Our bodies would be our bodies are not meant to be in this high level frequency all the time. They're also not meant to be in that low level frequency, right? We're meant
No.
to be shifting and changing and have highs and have lows, and not necessarily that our lows need to be way down here and our highs need to be
No.
way up there, but
Yeah.
that's that flow, right? And so when
Balance.
people it's the balance, it's the energy is always
Mhm.
moving, and so our emotions are always moving, our bodies are always moving, our minds are always moving.
Well, that's a goal, I think. I think that's the essence of what life wants us to do. But in many cases, the flow is not there, and the mind is stuck, the bodies are stuck.
Yeah.
Um, And I think that's what our work is that we do, is helping creating more space to let that energy flow to where it needs to go. I think
Exactly.
that's, yeah,
Yeah. So when you work with a client,
yeah.
how do you identify where that energy is getting stuck?
That's a good question. I start with a question list. First, I want to know, like, on because I work on mentally, physically, socially, and emotionally, and I ask them a few questions, so I already know like what kind of direction they need something or are stuck, and then I just let them talk,
So
and
they self-identify.
yes,
Okay.
that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So they self-identify. And that's most of the time what I'm doing is I let them self see things, being more aware of where they are by asking the right questions. I don't know if it's what's right, but what I feel like,
Yeah,
okay,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
yeah,
You're guiding the experience, but it's very much an individual experience that's just supported by you.
yeah, it's double because I also created a program, a Revive Boost Tract, coaching tract with videos. So I give information about, like, educate my clients, and then I go deeper by
Yeah.
going individual and that identify like where are you stuck, and then
Hmm.
we can see, okay, what can help you. Most of the time, I let them explore themselves, like find things what they would help them to make create more energy. But I see this education part is high value of it. I don't know what to say in English.
I mean, that works. Those words work. High value.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I mean, that's where I think talk a little bit more about the what you mean by educating. So you're
Mm,
educating them on how to recognize this energy in themselves, or
exactly.
what are they being educated on?
Yeah. For example, how do I say it in English? We call it prikkelniveau.
Okay.
uh, it's like the impulse. Yeah, yeah.
Impulse. Okay.
Impulse level. Yeah, impulse level.
Got it.
Yeah. So I love to use like visuals. Like, yeah, you do that too.
Yeah, I do.
I know.
Yes.
So like it's like a graphic,
Okay.
um, and then they can identify. Like I explain what the levels are on that graphic, like being centered in the
Mm,
out of the comfort zone, being like stressed and being cut out.
okay.
Um, and this is also with colors. So I explain what it is. And when I'm talking with them, I can ask them, like, where are you now on this level,
Mm,
on this impulse level? And they're like, oh, I'm now in the blue zone or I'm in the green zone. Okay, that's good. So we create more awareness. And then it's like, what is possible for you now? Are you able to get a level higher or not? And what can you do? So in the coachings, we do that together. But my aim is that they would learn them to do that themselves in a
beautiful.
situation. Yeah.
So I love that, and I love that you're using um a visual that has multiple levels of communication on it, right? So, and this very much speaks to the work that I do, because my work
Exactly.
is about helping you find the language that works for you, right? But that
Mhm.
educational piece, and my programs have that too, where it's like you go in and there's some pieces that you learn on your own. There's some tools that you can use both in our one-on-one calls, as well as you can take that and it can help you continue your learning, continue your insights, continue your application, right, of what it
Mhm.
is that we're doing um, as you move forward. So, people who have a high fluency in their images channel, right? There's
Mhm.
the 5 different channels: thinking, images, movement, emotional, and sensory. And so
Hmm.
people who are really connected with their images channel are going to be able to access that because it has the colors that's going to help them remember, right?
Yeah,
People who are really
exactly.
aligned with their thinking channel are going to be able to access it through the words. There's also like an emotion that is stimulated through those colors. I'm assuming that, and tell me if I'm wrong, but that the colors have a particular energy level, right?
Hmm.
That are going
Yeah,
to help bring through a particular emotion or sensory feeling in your body that's going to relate to that same vibration of whatever that word is, whatever that concept is, right? Is that
yeah.
true?
I agree with that.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
the, I see it as also like I did an education, stress and relaxation therapy.
Hmm.
And we learned that too there. That's different. It was really amazing. It was a massaging with colors and sounds, and
Sounds
it depends.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing to receive, but also amazing to give.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Like with red, the color red was first, and it was like more with music, like heavy, more heavy music.
For that
And
grounding. Yeah.
exactly, with the grounding. And so we go through all the colors with different movements.
Nice.
And then you can talk with your client and see like what felt good for you, what didn't felt good, and then you can move forward from those information. So I
Mm.
think it's yeah, it's valuable. It's valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really interesting how like there isn't necessarily one way that is right for everyone, right? And it also doesn't mean that every person is going to take away the same thing or the same level of experience for each different element that you have. So
Mhm.
some people are really going to resonate with the physical part of that massage experience, right? Whereas some people might really resonate with the color experience of it or the sound experience.
Yeah.
And some people might really benefit from the combination of all of those things being present. And some people might actually be like, this is not for me. That does not that does not sound really beneficial because they need to have a really focused, streamlined experience, and that's their particular way of benefiting from something.
I think also that's true. Like it depends on what person you are, and also I think what situation you are in or what you experience in that moment. But I think that it helps in a way of getting you into the moment because your senses are touched. I don't know how to say
Yeah,
it.
yeah, stimulated, I guess is the word I would use,
Stimulated.
but touched is very similar. Yeah,
Yeah, like the sound and the colors, it's gets you out of your heads and even the touches, and it gets you into your body. And this is one really important step of being getting the more awareness and also feeling more relaxed and getting more in your body because in society we are drawn out of our body for so many things like even social media or
yeah,
um, phones or all kind of impulses, and we have to be out. And there's also a lot of expectations, so it's working sometimes to learn back to get into body. And this is an example of what we can do in coaching to help people get them back into the body.
yeah. We do spend a lot of time with our energy uh, in lots of different places all at the same time, right? Like even um, there's this phrase that I started using several years ago to explain this phenomenon that we're talking about, and it is your awareness of your awareness. So you have an awareness, right? Like you have an aware. You and I, we're aware that we're in a conversation. Um, But when you can expand your awareness. And so I can be aware that you and I are in a conversation. I can be aware that there are people walking by my window outside. I can be aware that my cats are asleep in the room next door. I can be, like you can expand your awareness out like that. But you can also expand your awareness to be aware of the things that you're aware of, right? So it gets a little
Mhm.
bit meta at
Yes,
this point, but
yeah.
when you can expand your awareness, but you can actually expand beyond that level of awareness, right? And that's where it actually comes in. Like when you are working with a coach or a mentor or a guide in whatever way, right? You're working with someone else, what they're doing, whether it's a tool or a person or a modality, right? That is your support system to become the awareness of your awareness. It's reflecting that back to you. So you and I are in a conversation, you're
Yeah.
aware of you, you're aware of your situation, your circumstances, right? Your thoughts.
Mhm.
And then I'm reflecting them back to you to say, oh, okay, here's what I'm hearing. How does this feel to you? Is this correct? Could you expand it in this way? Could you implement this? Could you use this tool?
Yeah.
And when you have that reflection, then you can become aware of your own awareness and you can start to do that for yourself, right? So you can start to go, oh, like you were teaching with this tool, right? This is my
Yeah.
level. This is where I am on this right now. What can I do to raise my vibration to come up to this next level? And that consciousness, that voice, that
Hmm.
is you being your own mentor, right? You being your own coach.
Exactly. And what I even learned, like I agree with what you said, is when you coach or when I'm coaching, this phenomena happens, and it helps me raising, like I'm in my body, but then I connect energetically with the other person because I'm there to serve. So I open myself
Mhm.
for that person. I feel there, like kind of a level of energy awareness, and I tune in a way into that. But I also be in myself. I don't know if it's getting
Yes.
too complex. And then I see like, okay, you're there. I'm here. We can go here. Okay, what do I can I put out there to get you at the higher level?
Yeah.
And this process, yeah, that's what you meant, right? This
Yes.
process is really giving me a fulfilling purpose feeling, like it feels when I get there and when we get there together, it's like, yes.
It's amazing, right? It's such a great feeling. Yeah, that's even the next level, right? Because it's now I'm aware of my own awareness, right? And I'm aware of you and your awareness. So it's like this is that like higher level when people say like your higher self or you're ascending up to a higher level, right? It's it's funny because we start the practice generally by grounding into our body and then we like lift out of it to be able to see what's happening from a higher
Uh-huh.
perspective. And it's not leaving your body in the sense of like numbing
No,
your body or numbing your thoughts or
we're
anything
not
like that.
floating or so.
It's
It's really,
actually very crisp and clear, right?
yeah,
Like it's that really fine tuned clarity of being able to experience more than one thing at the
yes,
same time. And so
exactly.
I love that description that you gave because that's exactly what happens. Not exactly, but it's very similar, very reminiscent of the experience that I have when I'm working with someone. I'm aware of all the things that I'm receiving in my body, which
Mhm.
are for me and about me, as well as for you and about you, right?
Exactly.
So I can feel, I'm going to just use us for an example, if that's okay with you.
That's okay.
Um, when we first got on the call, right before we actually went live and started, diving deep into this conversation, there was we were in a different vibration, right? I was coming in from another conversation that I just had. You were coming in from your whole day that you've had, right? And we were coming into this place where we had to kind of like get our energy into the same place. And
Mhm.
I could sense in you there was a little bit of like, okay, I'm not sure where I'm going here, right? Like, where do I fit into this conversation? How does it flow? And now
Mm.
I feel a big shift in that energy, that we are very much in, first of all, in sync
Mm.
with each other, and
Mm.
also at a higher place. Does that feel true for you?
Yeah, that feels true. That feels true.
And so that's exactly what happens, right, in those conversations with clients of, it's not about I'm doing this to change you. It's you and I are meeting together and finding that place that resonates for both of us. Because then, in that way, I'm receiving something that's in alignment for me. And also by helping you find that for you, that's
Yeah.
coming back to me. So it's like this give and take that's happening.
I think that's a really important point you make. That it's not about changing the other person. It's
Mhm.
really important.
Yeah.
Um, it is really looking like what is the situation, where is the person at, and what are the possibilities.
Yes.
Um, what can I do, and what is the person open to, and what does the person needs. So I really use these words too, like what do
Mhm.
you need, or how can I support you in a way, to make this the communication more clear. But what to go back
Yeah.
on this lower level thing, I want to say too, like this. For me to get like what we just described, this is also has been a process. It sounds like how we talk about it's like easy, yeah, let's tune
Well,
into
you and I
somebody
both have done our own journey with this
else.
and are in the place of doing this with other people. So, yes, I think that's very important. It is a process, right? Um,
Yes, want to make clear that it's
yeah.
not like, yeah, we can do that easy thing. Of course we can connect and open up and higher raise levels of other people, and this is
And
really
at
a
the same time, though, it is easy when it is easy because you and I are in that place, right? So, you and I have taken our own journey, but we do this with our clients, and it's not, it is easy for them too because we are skilled at going to this place, right? So you and I were able to go there very quickly. Um, and when you and I have a resonance with our clients, when we work with our clients, you build a different kind of rapport, right? And
Mm,
that's why I personally like to use the word mentor,
mm,
because I'm coming into it to show you through my life experiences, through our shared experiences, how you can do this yourself. And I'm doing that from a place of wisdom from my own experience,
mm.
and from being able to see the wisdom, that potential that exists within you, and help draw that forward, right?
Yeah,
So it's not an experience that I think so many times people will say, you've got to do the work, you've got to, it's got to be, put in the hard work.
no,
Yes, it can be, it's work in the sense that you have to show up for it, right? And there is something that you are actively participating in. And
that's true.
it can be challenging because, like we talked
Yes.
about previously, it's not just all the happy, joy, like blissful things,
No.
it's also the courage to sit with those
Mm.
things that are uncomfortable, the discomfort, right?
Yeah,
And knowing that those two things are balanced out by staying in that flow with it. So that's the space that we're moving through together.
yeah, that makes completely sense.
Excellent. Um, yeah, I think there's so many different. Let me just say that the world of energy and um, healing, I guess I'm going to use that word, although I don't always like that word as much because I feel like it has such trauma filled, experiences tied to it.
Mhm.
But at one point, there really was only one form of therapy to use, right? Like there was talk therapy. Or if there was something beyond that, it was really extreme and very unpleasant. And that's not the case with what all the possibilities that there are today. You know, there
Mhm.
are these experiences that are collaborative and
Mhm.
individualized, right? Unique to each person and how they know and how they show up in the world, that is then going to attract the people that are a good match for that, right? So not everybody's going to be the best match for you, not everybody's going to be the best match for me as a client, and vice versa. I'm not going to be the right person for everyone to help guide them through their journey because they may not be aligned with the way that I see things, the way that I do things, and same for you.
And there you have the law of attraction, of letting it
Yeah.
come to you and being open and see what resonates, what's not, and whatever it is, it's okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, being okay with the reality that it's happening and allowing. I think that's not always an easy one, but
Right.
it's a good one. Is allowing like what what will come for me, what's meant for me, uh, will come. And
Yeah.
that's also a really im- important one that I've been learning the last few weeks, months, is trusting. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not acting out of fear. And I feel also in society because of the expectations. Um, yeah, we act and we feel, and that's the trauma thing which you we talk about is
Yeah.
acting and expecting things out of fear, while we have to. That's what we do in the coachings. Is learning to lean back and open, being open and allowing and trusting. That's
It's a big one, and it has been a very palpable, like so present in the world. I think if you want to, we could talk about it from the perspective of the cosmos, we could talk about it from the perspective of the world news, we could talk about it from the perspective of what we're experiencing in our bodies. Like in every way, I think that it has been, especially for the last couple of months, has been a really really big energetic theme that we've been moving through, is trust, and not trust in others, but trust in ourselves. And
yeah.
that faith
Mm,
that we are moving forward in the way that is aligned for us, and that we are moving forward in a way that we can't always see, but we know, right? We have that knowing that
yeah.
lives inside of us, and that's confidence, right? That confidence in that knowing is what gives us that trust.
And it's also what I talked about in the beginning of this conversation is being what is that's what I mean also with being in your power,
Yes.
um, is being having the trust, but also knowing like something it gives trust if you know where you are and what possibilities there are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so this is also connecting with each other, I think.
Exactly. It's when you have the clarity and the confidence within yourself,
Hmm.
then when you come into connection with other people, then you're coming in from that place, right? And you have that trust in yourself, and you know that you're attracting to you experiences that are there for you, whether they are pleasant or unpleasant, right? But you can
Hmm.
have that experience, like you were saying, like, you know, if something unpleasant happens, you can still come back into yourself and know, what is this here to teach me? How can I move through this in a way that is in service of me, without having to make it about the experience itself or about that other person or, you
Yeah.
know, situation, right? Um,
How can I
yeah,
learn? How can I grow out of this? Yeah, because growing, it's not a it's you see it. It's not a happy little thing. That's the thing of growing. It's getting up and down, and
yeah,
yeah,
it requires some stretching. It requires some some growing pains, so to speak, you know. um,
Yeah.
and at the same time, it can be, it can, when you look at it from the outside perspective, like I don't know if you've ever watched one of those like time lapse videos of a plant growing, like from seed into, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it is, or even the blossoming. It's so beautiful and so fluid and so so magical, you know, in a way where it's like you've got this little thing that looks like nothing, and then all of a sudden you've got this beautiful flower. And you know, that's what it looks like from the time lapse. That's what it looks like when you look back on something. But in the moment,
Yeah.
there's a whole lot going on that isn't, you know, isn't visible from that different perspective. And I
Yeah.
think it's that, having that, being present, being aware of whatever's happening in the moment, whether it's comfortable or not,
Mm-hmm.
and having that faith that it's moving you into something that is blossoming, that is not yet there, that is coming. And having that awareness of the awareness, right? Like having your awareness in the moment and the awareness of the larger picture. That's that beautiful balance.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then there is the magic.
There's the magic. Exactly. Well, I feel like those are words that we end the conversation on, right? Like, boom, there's the magic. Um, Beautiful. So, all right. So this is definitely something that I do in my programs, that I work with individuals on, and finding that, you know, finding that language that speaks for you, finding the way that that comes through for you and what your fluency is. And I know, Charlotte, you mentioned earlier that you have some programs that you do this in as well.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us where to find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, my website, www.arasari, I don't know the thing.
Icon. Is it the little, okay?
Yeah, lifestyle.com.
Okay, beautiful. And I'll put the link in, I'll put it in with the videos and everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, excellent. Wonderful. Well, it has been a joy talking with you today. Thank you for
Yes.
being here. And I'll be back again for more conversations on the Soul Wisdom Exchange. And until then, you know where to find me. And if you want to reach out to me to work with me, you can just send me a message or go to my website at maytree.com as well. All right. So thank you for being here, and we'll
Thank
talk
you,
to you
Regina.
soon. All right.
Bye.